Tyreek Hill is a two-time first-team All-Pro and three-time Pro Bowler since his debut in 2016. Hill has shown that he is an unstoppable force on the field, and when paired next to a good quarterback, he can be dominant. But back in the 2016 NFL Draft, he wasn't selected until the 165th pick in the 5th round. Hill has turned out to be a great and widely known wide receiver for his speed. After all, his nickname is Cheetah. So how did Hill get passed over in the draft, and where are those who were selected before him now? Today, we're going to talk about the 16 wide receivers drafted before Tyreek Hill and how their careers are going so far. If you plan on going to any events coming up, make sure you use SeatGeek to purchase your tickets. SeatGeek makes ticket buying easy by giving you a 1 to 10 score and even gives you a view of your seat.
You can use our code JDP at checkout to get $20 off your first purchase. Again, make sure to use SeatGeek when buying tickets and use code JDP at checkout for $20 off your first purchase. Let's get right back to the video.
Before we talk about the players drafted before Hill, let's look at how Hill has gotten to where he is today. Hill attended Coffee High School in Douglas, Georgia, where he was a track and field star. Garden City Community College, where not only did he continue to pursue track, but continued playing football. As a sophomore in 2013, Hill ran for 659 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. He also caught 67 passes for 532 yards. Coming out of community college, Hill was a sought-after recruit and would eventually choose to attend Oklahoma State. While at OSU, Hill acquired 534 rushing yards and 1 rushing touchdown. He also had 381 receiving yards and 1 receiving touchdown. As a running back, wide receiver, and returnman, Hill accounted for 1,811 all-purpose yards and 6 touchdowns. He would be ranked 11th nationally in all-purpose yards. Unfortunately, Hill would be dismissed from the school's football and track teams following a domestic violence arrest. Hill would decide to continue to play football and attend the University of West Alabama going into his senior season. Regardless of his workouts, many teams had completely removed Hill from their draft boards after the domestic violence charges. Hill would eventually get drafted in the 5th round with the 165th overall pick by the Kansas City Chiefs. Due to this decision to draft Hill, the Chiefs organization received a lot of criticism for it. During Hill's rookie season, he had 593 receiving yards, 267 rushing yards, 384 kick returning yards, and 592 punt return yards. In total, he finished the year with 12 touchdowns. He appeared in all 16 games, although he only started 1. The season really showcased how great of a returnman Hill was, and for that, he was named first-team All-Pro and made the Super Bowl as a return specialist. In his sophomore season, Hill had 75 receptions for 1,183 yards and 7 touchdowns. He made the Pro Bowl as a return specialist again and was ranked 40th on the NFL's top 100 players of 2018. In his 2018 season, Hill had one of his best years yet. He acquired for 1,479 yards and 13 touchdowns. Hill has ran into multiple domestic violence issues, but remains in the league and avoided suspension this year somehow. In the 2016 NFL Draft, many people saw Hill unfit due to his past, but the Chiefs took a chance and so far it's paid off. So that raises the question, who were these 16 wide receivers drafted before Tyreek Hill? The first wide receiver taken in the 2016 NFL Draft was Baylor's Corey Coleman, who was drafted by the Cleveland Browns with the 15th overall pick. Coleman came into the draft following a dominant season for Baylor, where he had 74 receptions for 1,363 yards and 20 touchdowns. He was named the nation's top receiver and opted to forego his senior season. Coleman underwent hernia surgery before the draft, which caused him to miss most of the preseason. He ended up playing in 10 games, catching 33 passes and accumulating for 413 yards and 3 touchdowns before breaking his hand during practice. Coleman played in Week 1 in 2017 before breaking the same hand in Week 2. He returned and played in 9 games on the year, catching 23 passes for 305 yards and 2 touchdowns. Coleman became frustrated with not getting first-team reps and asked to be traded. He was traded to the Bills, but was released prior to the season. He signed with the Patriots and was released soon after. He played for the Giants to finish the year and appeared in 8 games, making 5 catches. He tore his ACL in training camp this offseason. Coleman has not only not been able to stay healthy, but hasn't even been very good when he's on the field. Coleman helped sum up an awful first-round wide receiver class. Safe to say, anyone takes Hill over Coleman now. The Houston Texans owned the 21st pick in the draft, where they selected Will Fuller out of Notre Dame. Fuller declared for the draft after a junior year where he made 62 catches, resulting in 1,258 yards and 14 touchdowns. As a rookie, Fuller appeared in 14 games, making 47 catches for 635 yards and 2 touchdowns. In a year that looked to be solid for the young rookie, the year contains his career highs in receptions and yards. Fuller suffered from a broken collarbone prior to his sophomore season and played in just 10 games. He had 423 yards and 7 touchdowns on 28 receptions. There was a lot of optimism headed into 2018 about how good he could be if he stayed healthy. Unfortunately, he tore his ACL and played in just 7 games. He had 32 catches for 503 yards and 4 touchdowns. Fuller has been good, but just hasn't really been able to stay healthy. His talent could still be there, and he could emerge as a great wide receiver in the coming years, but for now, it's only really clear that he hasn't been able to stay healthy since his solid rookie year. Hill would be the better pick now, and there's really no debate about it. One pick later at 22, the Washington Redskins selected TCU's Josh Doctson. Doctson had 1,327 yards and 14 touchdowns off of 79 receptions as a senior at TCU. If the 2 receivers before Doctson were disappointing, then he just flat out was bad, and as a Redskins fan, this one hurts a little bit. As a rookie, Doctson dealt with an Achilles injury, missing preseason, and quickly re-aggravated it, which led to him catching just 2 passes in 2 games as a rookie. His rookie season would lead you to believe that his career was derailed by injuries, but he's missed just 1 game since. In 2017, he played in every game, catching 35 catches for 502 yards and 6 touchdowns. Last year, he had 532 yards and 2 touchdowns on 44 receptions. The Redskins declined his 5th-year option and looked to move on from him. Hill would have been a world's difference for a bad Redskins wide receiver core. Doctson just hasn't been good. The 3rd wide receiver in a row taken was Doctson-Treadwell out of Ole Miss, who the Minnesota Vikings took with the 23rd pick. Treadwell declared for the draft after a breakout junior year with 1,153 yards and 11 touchdowns on 83 receptions. Treadwell had a very limited rookie year with the Vikings and played in just 9 games, catching a single pass. The following year, he played in every game and had 20 receptions for 200 yards. He played in 6 games in 2018, having 19 receptions for 180 yards and his one and only career touchdown. Hill over Treadwell is a no-brainer. Treadwell has been the worst on the list so far, and it's really not even close, which says a lot. With the 40th pick in the 2nd round, the New York Giants selected Oklahoma's Sterling Shepard. Shepard had 1,288 yards and 11 touchdowns off of 86 receptions as a senior at Oklahoma. Shepard won a starting spot on the Giants immediately and played in every game, catching 65 passes for 683 yards and 8 touchdowns. He was named to the Pro Football Writers Association All-Rookie team after his impressive year. Shepard has only continued to improve since his rookie campaign. In only 11 games in 2017, he had 731 yards and 2 touchdowns on 59 receptions. Playing in every game again last season, he had 872 yards and 4 touchdowns on 66 receptions. Has Shepard lit the world on fire in the league? No. Is he better than every wide receiver drafted before him so far? Yeah. People are excited for Shepard this year with the departure of Odell Beckham. I'm a little worried that he'll now have to face a top option corner instead of defenses game planning for Beckham, but we'll see how he does soon enough. Shepard has been reliable and a good pick for the Giants, but not as good as Hill. With the 47th pick, the New Orleans Saints selected Michael Thomas out of Ohio State. Thomas declared for the draft after his redshirt junior year, where in just 14 games, he had 781 yards and 9 touchdowns off of 56 receptions. Thomas was named a starter for the Saints and took the league by storm as a rookie as he put up 1,137 yards and 9 touchdowns on 92 receptions. Thomas set franchise records for a rookie in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. He was named to the Pro Football Writers Association All-Rookie team. Since a dominant rookie year, Thomas has continued to get better and cement himself as a top receiver in the league. In his sophomore season, he had 104 receptions for 1,245 yards and 5 touchdowns en route to his first Pro Bowl selection. Last year, he improved even more with a 1,405-yard, 9-touchdown year on 125 receptions. There were no mistakes made on this pick. 55th overall, the Cincinnati Bengals took Pittsburgh's Tyler Boyd. Boyd declared for the draft after a slightly down junior year at Pittsburgh. His best year in college was as a sophomore when he had 1,261 yards and 8 touchdowns on 78 receptions. Boyd was the Bengals' 3rd wideout as a rookie. He played in all 16 games, catching 54 passes on 603 yards and 1 touchdown. After an impressive rookie campaign, Boyd declined the following year, in part to a knee injury. He had just 225 yards and 2 touchdowns on 22 receptions. Before last season, one wouldn't think too highly of Boyd, but in 2018, he had the best season of his career. In A.J. Green's injury-riddled season, Boyd played in 14 games and had 1,028 yards and 7 touchdowns on 76 receptions. Boyd was a little underwhelming, but has seemed to hit his stride. You would probably say Hill is a better option without any doubt, but let's not remember that Boyd's playing with Andy Dalton, and Hill's always had an above-average quarterback. With the 85th pick in the 3rd round, the Houston Texans selected Ohio State's Braxton Miller. Just a heads up, the talent level dramatically decreased after the 2nd round of the draft. Miller came to Ohio State as a quarterback and didn't play wideout until his redshirt senior season. He finished the year with 260 yards and 3 touchdowns on 42 receptions. He had a dominant combine to help his stock. Miller was a top 3 performer in the 3-cone drill, 20-yard shuttle, and 60-yard shuttle. Miller started his rookie year as the 3rd-string wideout behind Will Fuller and DeAndre Hopkins. Miller dealt with a shoulder injury that allowed him to play in just 10 games. He had 15 receptions for 99 yards and a touchdown. The following year, he had 162 yards and a touchdown on 19 receptions in 11 games. He was released by the Texans before the 2018 season. He was quickly signed to the Eagles practice squad, where he still remains now. Miller simply hasn't been able to get it done in the league. Hill could have dominated alongside Hopkins in Houston. Now we're moving on to the 8 players that you've probably never heard of unless they played for your team. The Miami Dolphins selected Leonte Carroll out of Rutgers, 86th overall. Carroll had a solid junior year for Rutgers, playing in 13 games, catching 55 balls for 1,086 yards and 10 touchdowns. He was suspended the following year due to an altercation, but after the charges were dropped, he returned to the team. Carroll had 39 catches for 809 yards and 10 touchdowns in 8 games. He dealt with an ankle injury that limited him at the combine. Carroll was the team's 4th wideout as a rookie. He played in 14 games in his sophomore season, catching 7 passes for 69 yards. He was waived by the Dolphins and signed to the Dolphins practice squad. He was activated late in the season and had 2 catches for 94 yards and a touchdown on the season. He was activated late in the season and had 2 catches for 94 yards and a touchdown on the season in 2018. Carroll has been a disappointment and is currently an unsigned free agent. Chris Moore was taken in the 4th round, 107th overall by the Baltimore Ravens. Moore attended Cincinnati, where as a senior he had 870 yards and 7 touchdowns on 40 receptions. Moore appeared in 15 games as a rookie for the Ravens, catching 7 passes for 47 yards. He had 248 yards and 3 touchdowns on 18 catches in 2017. Last year he had 19 receptions for 196 yards and 1 touchdown. Nothing impressive. Hill was a late round steal that was passed on by all these teams, much like a lot of the guys next to him on the list. The New England Patriots owned the 112th pick in the draft, where they took Georgia's Malcolm Mitchell. As a redshirt senior, Mitchell had 865 yards and 5 touchdowns on 58 catches. Mitchell finished his time in Georgia 3rd in school history with 174 receptions for 2,350 yards and 16 touchdowns. Mitchell was surprisingly named the Patriots' starting wide receiver alongside Julian Edelman. He played in 14 games on the year, catching 32 passes for 401 yards and 4 touchdowns. Mitchell hasn't had a super successful career, but he played a pivotal role in a Super Bowl, something not a lot of NFL players can say. Mitchell caught 6 passes, 5 in the 4th quarter for 70 yards in the Patriots' comeback win over the Falcons in Super Bowl 51. It's been downhill since though. He missed the entire 2017 season due to a knee injury. In the 2018 offseason, he underwent surgery and was released by the team. Mitchell showed some promise in his year playing with the Patriots. He wasn't great, but good enough to be on a roster. Injuries have prohibited him from playing, and hopefully he gets another shot after his recovery. He currently remains an NFL free agent. The Cleveland Browns took Ricardo Louis from Auburn with the 114th pick. Louis wasn't very productive at Auburn and finally produced as a senior with 46 catches for 716 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was unfortunately known in college for his dropped passes and 6 fumbles. At the Combine, Louis had the best broad jump of all wideouts with an 11-foot broad. He also ran a 4.43 40-yard dash and had a 38-inch vertical jump, an impressive Combine showing that helped him go in the 4th round to the Browns. Louis played in every game for the Browns in his first 2 seasons. As a rookie, he had 18 receptions for 205 yards, and in his second year had 27 receptions for 357 yards. He missed the entire 2018 season with a neck injury and was waived by the Browns. He was picked up by the Dolphins and put on IR immediately, where he remains now. Louis was okay for the Browns for a couple years, and hopefully this isn't the end of a road for him, but he's never been great on an NFL level. The Kansas City Chiefs drafted Demarcus Robinson out of Florida with the 126th pick. Robinson surprisingly declared for the draft after his junior year at Florida. He had 48 catches for 522 yards and 2 touchdowns. Robinson started his rookie year as the 4th wide receiver for the Chiefs and actually outperformed Hill in camp to earn the job. Robinson appeared in every game, but mainly on special teams. In his sophomore season, Robinson was the 5th string wide receiver for the Chiefs. He finished the year with 21 catches for 212 yards. Last year, Robinson had 288 yards and 4 touchdowns on 22 receptions. Robinson has some talent, and it's pretty clear, but there's a reason Hill is the starting Chiefs wide receiver, and Robinson is far behind him on the list. With the 140th pick in the 5th round, the Tennessee Titans selected Tajaé Sharpe from UMass. Sharpe played at UMass for 4 years and broke school records for career receptions and receiving yards. As a senior, Sharpe had 1,319 yards and 5 touchdowns on 111 receptions. Sharpe won a starting role for the Titans out of camp. Playing in every game, he had 41 receptions for 522 yards and 2 touchdowns. In 2017, Sharpe missed a year on IR with a foot injury. He returned in 2018 to start for the Titans. In all 16 games again, he had 316 yards and 2 touchdowns on 26 receptions. Sharpe has been solid for the Titans and certainly deserves a role on an NFL team, but of course there's no debate between him and Hill. The Cleveland Browns own the 154th pick in the draft. They took Jordan Payton out of UCLA. Payton broke out as a junior at UCLA, catching 67 passes for 954 yards and 7 touchdowns. His 3-year starting quarterback, Brett Hundley, left for the draft, but he decided to stay for his senior season to play with a new starting quarterback, Josh Rosen. He had 1,105 yards and 5 touchdowns on 78 receptions as a senior. Payton had a very unsuccessful NFL career. He made just 1 catch for 3 yards as a rookie before getting suspended for PEDs. He was waived by the Browns before the 2017 season and hasn't found his way back on an NFL roster. A tough ending for a guy who was solid at UCLA. The final wide receiver taken before Hill was Trevor Davis, who was taken by the Green Bay Packers 163rd overall after his time with California. Davis played at Hawaii before transferring to Cal. As a senior, Davis had 40 receptions for 672 yards and 2 touchdowns. He surprised a lot of NFL analysts when he was invited to the NFL Combine. Davis was top 4 for his position in the 40-yard dash and vertical jump. As a rookie, Davis had 3 catches for 24 yards and a touchdown. In 2017, he had 5 receptions for 60 yards. Last year, he spent time on IR with a hamstring injury, appearing in just 2 games. The Packers took a Hail Mary chance in the 5th round on a fast guy to play wide receiver. Just turns out they picked the wrong one. And of course, with the 165th pick in the 5th round, the Kansas City Chiefs selected 3-time Pro Bowler Tyreek Hill. With Hill's success in the league, it may make you wonder if he would perform different if drafted elsewhere. Hill's talent on the field is specifically his speed. He was dominant with Alex Smith and even more so with Patrick Mahomes, so he has benefited from great quarterback play, but he's fast. His nickname is Cheetah, and he does a lot after the catch. I think Tyreek Hill is just an absolute speedy freak, and it wouldn't necessarily matter where he was drafted. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. My name is Jackson.
And my name is Darren, and this is J&D Productions. So if you don't already know what type of videos we basically make videos revolving around sports. We eventually want to work to make this our full-time job, and we're working really hard currently to make great content for you guys.
And if there's anything you can do to help us, please share this video. Tell your friends about it, tell your family about it. Make sure you go share it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any of those above. Just go help us grow. We're just trying to grow this channel. We're trying to make better content, and we really appreciate it if you help get the word out about our channel.
And if you guys want to help us out any more than you already have by sharing and watching this video, please go ahead and click that link down in the description for Patreon. If you guys don't know what a Patreon is, it helps us make better content for you guys. And that is strictly what it's for. We don't want to take your money. We don't want to steal your money. We just want to make better content for you guys. We're 2 broke college students, and we're just trying to make this our full-time gig. So if you have the generosity in your hearts to help us out a little bit more, please click that link down in the description.
But again, if you don't have the money, don't worry about it. We don't have money either. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you go share this video as much as you possibly can. Help us get our name out there. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.